Now I'm just running to my last bait back here on the beaver pond. Wanted to take a second to tackle a question I got on a recent bear baiting video. Roger says, "You notice I had a big one come in way after dark. What can I do to try to get them to come in earlier?" And I guess the answer to that is bears are unpredictable. I have no real rhyme or reason to, when they come in, what time they like to come in. I got a lot of pictures of the same bears at daylight, all times in the morning. Sometimes they'll come in right after I leave. They hear my four-wheeler coming in. I still walk it a long ways. I don't pull right up to my spot, but there's a fresh pile of bear scat there. But I've heard of different tricks, like using a different kind of bait just to try to get them to, a little treat every once in a while just to get them to come in earlier. I'm on public land, so I'm kind of limited to how much bait I'm using. I can't keep a full barrel out here all the time, so I'm baiting often, but pretty small amounts, and that's, I guess if there's a lot of competition in the area, they're going to want to be the first ones there to get the bait. But they're unpredictable. I got the same bears, no specific times they come in. They just, all times of the day, all times of the night. He also says we have a 40 up near the western end of the UP that we want to hunt the third season next year. Any advice on when to start baiting for that last hunt? If we bait in August, I'm afraid the dog guys will chase them away. Well, there's a lot of bears over toward the west end, that unit. But, there's a lot of hunters, and I hear there's a lot of dog hunters too. But I guess my experience is the dog hunters like the roads they can travel for miles and miles, and they don't have to stop, nicer groomed trails that they can run. Maybe not the thickest woods, the cedar swamps and the beaver ponds. Maybe they like a little more of the hardwoods where they're not going to, lose track of their dogs. But I don't know. I think all season long it's kind of a problem, because even when you can start baiting. Well, right now guys can train their dogs right up until, right up until the first hunt or the fifth or somewhere in there. So I think it's, if they're in your area and you've seen them running your roads before, it's probably going to be an issue. And a lot of them say that, the dogs aren't going to intrude on your baits or create a problem. Well, I don't really agree with that. I got nothing personal against dog hunters. I think they have the right to hunt any way they want, whether I choose to do it or not. They put a lot of time and effort into it, and they have the right to do it. So, but I don't know. Maybe head to some state land somewhere, find a good out of the way backside of a trail, dead end, middle of nowhere, and be ready to put some effort into it. Walk back in there. I just try not to put all your eggs in one basket on 140, because it doesn't take much to scare a bear away. They're not gonna put up with a whole lot of pressure. I know when I first moved up here and I first started bear hunting up here, I thought, wow, just thousands and thousands of acres. I'm thinking you don't see nobody or nothing. Well, after running baits for a few years, they're around. A lot of them come from downstate. And I can remember one night in particular, I was sitting out in the middle of the woods, quarter mile from the trail where I parked. And it's a real remote spot. And I'm sitting there about prime time, 6 in the evening. I hear a four-wheeler coming, on the road. It's really calm. And I hear him go by where I'm parked and continue on. I can hear him stop. And I know he's probably running a bait, and after a while, he gets his bait set, and he jumps back, fires up the four-wheeler, runs another quarter mile, stops again. I listened to him for probably a half an hour, and the whole time I'm thinking, I know these roads by now really well, and I know exactly where that guy is. And these bears, their survival depends on, you know, knowing these things and where to find food and shelter and how to survive. Them bears know exactly where that guy's at, and you know, same with me when I run my baits. I run my four-wheeler in there, and I can, you know, I can see on the cameras that oftentimes they'll come in right after I leave, and I try to bait about the same time, you know, when I run baits. It's just kind of mid-morning, but yeah, I'd still bait it. I'd bait it, you know, as early as you can. Keep as much bait as you can there. The more bears that are coming in, use things like grease and, you know, really smelly stuff that's going to stick to their pad, and they're going to track it, you know, miles through the woods, and anything that's going to cross their bait or their path is eventually going to, you know, hopefully trail back to your bait. And the more bears that know, you know, where your bait's at, the better chance, of course, you're going to have later in the season. And anyway, I hope that little bit of advice helps, and anybody else has a question, hey, let me know. I'm just out here putting a few miles on and logging some time. So the season starts here in a couple of weeks. I got hunters coming up, and we're gonna get to it. So got a question, fire away.